the Southerners fight the North are... The main problem of Nigeria is not the North, but the Southerners who are busy fighting amongst themselves while the North are busy exploiting their human intelligence and natural resources with such abundant recklessness. Since the beginning of President Muhammadu Buhari's regime over 7 years ago, the only project initiative that has become a sing-song in the South is the second Niger Bridge that connects more than 7 states of Nigeria. The project has been elicited as if it's a Southeast benevolence gift from this regime. And this is because we lack the insight into the overall review of the Nigeria or of the entire Nigerian space. We are not aware that the project is not only beneficial to the Southeast alone, but the entire South, with exemptions of Delta and Edo states. As usual, the project that was billed for commissioning this December has been shifted to an imaginary date. Yes, the South has been jubilating as if the project funding wasn't coming from its endowed resources. Sometimes stupidity is not only being a moron, but being played by a stranger who is taking care of your baby. Whenever your baby is crying for food, he will rub your baby's lips with palm oil and let the baby out for neighbors to feel how generous the stranger was in feeding your baby. Meanwhile, the main menu is consumed secretly by the stranger. A story of a country that has built many bridges, highways, and railways in another country, Niger Republic, but kept on insulting the intelligence of the South from where the golden eggs are laid. While the Southerners are jubilating at this project's snail level of works propaganda, the North has constructed a lot of bridges, including the ones that has linked all the Northerners to Niger Republic, Chad, and Cameroon for the influx of foreigners into Nigeria without visas. Wow. I mean, this person concludes that Nigeria is yet to realize that a country cannot develop under falsehood or ethnic nepotism. There is an urgent need for a round-table conference, and let's sincerely ask ourselves what actually each ethnic nationality means or represents in the overall appraisal of the entity called Nigeria. As at present, there is no country but ethnic dominance politics, where the winner takes all, and beyond taking all, others are made to be victims, and their properties and land become spoils of war for the winner. My conclusion remains, personally, I believe that when Nigeria is ready for the change, I don't think it will be as difficult. I don't think you would need to convince anybody as to why this is a better option, or at least even just engagement in itself, which I think with the Peter Obi, movement is a positive you can say comes from it. Not everyone may support Peter Obi, but I think if anything, the engagement is higher. We could definitely see voting population almost double or triple in 2023, and these are projections based on registration of voters' cards. So, that is a good thing. But I personally believe that whatever antics, this Niger Bridge that was meant to be commissioned for this December, this was a project funded even initiated from Goodluck Jonathan's government into Buhari's, and then there was a problem with how much funding would come from the government and what would come from a private organization, and then the government decided, let's reduce what we get to pay and get funding somewhere else. Great, that took a long time of negotiations. Just so, conveniently, COVID arises, which now takes away another 2 years from this project developing. So it's very, very sad, because obviously this gives room for embezzlement of funds, and it's not surprising, right? And then you look at the North, of course, with the influx of neighboring countries that border the north of Nigeria, and that with insecurity and everything, it's like, well, I guess the person is right in saying the South is fighting each other, but then when you say the North are doing this, it's like the people in general are not even benefiting from what you say the North is doing. You have northern elites who just happen to be in control of the resources in Nigeria, and so because of, for their gain, they allocate it to themselves and use it for whatever they want. But I think the more Nigerians are engaged, the more Nigerians are aware, of where they are from in Nigeria, understanding, the prejudices that hit some and don't hit some. I think that is when the change will actually happen. But to write a whole article, I mean, again, I don't know how things would have to, become even worse. I don't know how bad things would have to get for Nigerians to get to that point. But I think to a very large extent, these elections would be the first for, the awakening of Nigerians. But really, conversations about embezzlement of funds and, again, the Niger Bridge is not some gift or some compensation to the South. It's not a thank you present. It's like in a country, infrastructure, all these things, they are needed. This is what builds the value of a country. And so, the writer is right in that regard, where it's like, well, these things do need to be done. But then in the North, it's like projects are being going on, they're being finished, they're being commissioned. But then you also look at the average, the average Northerner and their living standard. It's also nothing to write home about. So really, this change is literally for Nigerians, the North and the South, to actually become one and literally think of who the elites are, who we want the elites to be. Well, the elites are people we can't even see anyways, but in terms of who we put there in government to represent us, we have to be intentional. And I don't know when we're going to get there, but it seems like it is now. So, really. Okay, so, first comment. Despite all the academic degrees claimed by the writer, all he did was to present twisted facts, tribal jingoism, outright lies, and self-glorification. I don't think that's what the writer really did, to be honest. This person is just talking out of somewhere. But I don't think the writer is... I mean, I feel like the writer, of course, is talking about the same issue in a more academic, it's well written, you can say that, and the intelligence of the writer definitely just shine through. But we've gone past that point of having conversations like this. If the average market woman or the agri cannot understand what you're saying, listen, communication is just not effective. So really, you can say all these things, but really, we need to be effective. At the end of the day, yes, everyone can argue about what the North are doing, the South are doing. We have to understand, the reality is we're a very divided country, and it would take a hell of a miracle to unite. I mean, this is not just, we're just divided. This is now a mindset, and those mindsets are fueled and are solidified by experiences, and also, other factors such as education, poverty, whatever you want to name it. Put what you think about what this article says in the comment section below, and do not forget to like and subscribe.